Okay, so welcome to The Torch. This is my first and only segment inspired by my favorite YouTuber, or one of my favorite YouTubers, Boxing Ego. And pretty much what I like to use The Torch for is to expose some of the lies and deceit that I see in certain topics and subjects. In this particular case, it's the bullshit that Max Kellerman was spewing out of his mouth last week on his first week of the first take. Now, I actually thought Max Kellerman had a pretty decent week overall. I liked the opposing viewpoints he gave to Stephen A. Smith on his first week in the first take. However, what I didn't like is their subject on boxing, specifically about when they were having the conversation about Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, who Manny Pacquiao should fight next. And he said a lot of things that he said raised a lot of red flags, and I really wanted to address that in this video. So, especially after seeing some of these YouTube videos where you're like, Max Kellerman's exposing, Floyd Mayweather and all this other jazz. I just wanted to really just kind of buckle down and talk about it. So, we're gonna start going into some of my points. All right, so get ready.
Floyd Mayweather said before the Pacquiao fight, when I say TBE, the best ever, I don't mean in the ring. Someone else can have that. I'm talking about the whole fight game. And he's right. If you're talking about the way he played the fight game, that's the career you should want. If it's your kid boxing, that's the career you would want, was Floyd Mayweather's career. But it set a bad precedent from fans' point of view for other fighters. Because what it taught other top fighters is avoid risks when they're not worth money, wait until the risks go down and the reward goes up, and then fight. From our point of view, fans and networks, that's not what we want. We want the Pacquiao model. Go head first into the biggest, baddest challenge. That's why Pacquiao has some losses. So he fought Morales and Barrera and Marquez.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I really want you guys to understand something. There is absolutely no problem with having, if you have the opinion that Floyd Mayweather, he picks and chooses his opponents, that's okay. I don't completely agree with you, but it's okay. Like, you can have that opinion on Floyd Mayweather. There's nothing wrong with that, and I can understand where you're coming from if you feel frustrated. I would have loved to have seen Floyd Mayweather fight guys like Keith Thurman, guys like Kell Brook, and guys like Saul Canelo. Well, he did fight Saul Canelo Alvarez, but you guys understand what I'm saying. There are people that he could have fought that he didn't fight, but I still believe that he took on some pretty good challenges with with the power that he had, with the options that he were given. However, if Max Kellerman were to leave it at that, I would have had no problem with it, right? But what he goes on to do is talk about Manny Pacquiao and how Manny Pacquiao had chose the model route, the route that the fans love and the fans need, and he fought the people that we want, the fights that we wanted to see, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, listen, Manny Pacquiao, if you compare their last 10 fights, they're not even close. In fact, I'm going to put up a picture of both of their last 10 fights, and I'm going to use BoxRec, and you guys I'm going to let you guys see how absurd Max Kellerman's statements are. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so this image that I have held up is pretty much Manny Pacquiao's his final 10 fights, and I highlighted some notes on there and put some annotations so you guys can see what I'm talking about when it's just when I say it's just absurd to compare Manny Pacquiao's last 10 fights to Floyd Mayweather's last 10. So I'm going to let me just read it out for you, or I'm going to go point by point and just talk to you guys about it. So pretty much, Manny Pacquiao fights 3 to 4 unnecessary rematches. Okay, now the reason why I say 3 to 4 is because you can argue that one of those rematches that he had, with being the first rematch he had with Timothy Bradley, is justified because everybody thought that Manny Pacquiao won that first fight, even though he didn't. But I also thought that Manny Pacquiao won that first fight, so I thought the rematch was very necessary because to pretty much to vindicate the thought that the fans had that Manny Pacquiao won that. All right, and then and the second point that I make is that Manny Pacquiao brings up 1 to 2 fighters up to welterweight division that don't belong. All right. Now, I circled Brandon Rios and Chris Algieri for that. Okay. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, okay, but Timothy Bradley also came up just to fight Manny Pacquiao. The reason why I don't circle Timothy Bradley is because even though Timothy Bradley is in a weight class below Manny Pacquiao's, Timothy Bradley is he already has a lot of credentials in the 140-pound division. He's done a lot in that division. He's done a lot, period. And so I don't mind anyone. If Timothy Bradley wants to go up and fight someone like Manny Pacquiao, I will give anybody credit for that because Timothy Bradley is just that kind of a fighter. He's a very solid opponent. He was undefeated. And, Manny Pacquiao definitely deserves credit for that first Timothy Bradley, any Timothy Bradley victory that he had. All right. Now, how you can't make that same argument with Brandon Rios and Chris Algieri. Well, you sort of can make that argument with Brandon Rios because Manny Pacquiao was coming off of that KO loss, but I still circled Brandon Rios anyway because again, Brandon Rios was also coming off a loss when he fought Manny Pacquiao when he went up to fight Manny Pacquiao. So even though Brandon Rios, even though Manny Pacquiao was coming off of a loss, you're fighting someone else from a lower division that's also coming off of a loss. To me, that's a little bit. I have to kind of bring some light to that. Again, I can understand him looking for maybe a soft touch when he's coming back from that sleep that he had. That Juan Manuel Marquez put him to sleep. So, but still, man, going down to 140 and fighting someone that has a loss. All right, and then Chris Algieri. I love Chris Algieri, but look, Chris Algieri. He did not belong in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Let's just be honest. The match even proved it. 6 knockdowns. Who actually went into that fight thinking that Chris Algieri is going to beat Manny Pacquiao? Are you kidding me? That fight should not have happened, especially after Manny Pacquiao pretty much put his nightmares to rest with the Timothy Bradley victory. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it because this victory over Chris Algieri is what led Manny Pacquiao to the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. And then lastly, Manny Pacquiao fights Margarito after he was exposed. Okay, listen, we all know about the whole scandal with the loaded gloves that, Antonio Margarito. And if Manny Pacquiao had fought Antonio Margarito before that happened, it would be one thing. But when Manny Pacquiao fights Margarito, he's already exposed as a cheater. You see what I'm saying? He's already been exposed. So, and not only that, he gets knocked out by Shane Mosley, and we're supposed to give Manny Pacquiao credit for that? Come on now. I just don't understand I don't understand how some of you people think. It's just ridiculous. But in the end, Manny Pacquiao, about 5 to 7, roughly around 5 to 7 of those fights were very meaningless in my opinion. I feel like he doesn't deserve nearly as much credit as I mean, are you kidding me? Bringing Chris Algieri up from 140 to fight for a WBO belt? Come on now, that's just ridiculous. All right, I shouldn't have to say anymore. But Anyway, let's look at Floyd Mayweather's